You're listening to Dairy Voice by Dairy Business News, a podcast exclusively for the dairy industry.
One of our sponsors of the Dairy Voice podcast is National DHIA. NDHIA ensures information accuracy and represents their members' interests. They are the direct voice for the dairy information industry. To find out more, go to dhia.org.
Welcome to another edition of the Dairy Voice podcast series sponsored by Showbox Sires and Dairy Business on the evolution of the great cow. We've done podcasts here in the past few months that have been very well received, and we've talked to great breeders and iconic people in our industry. We've talked to people that own great cows and develop great cows. But for me, this industry is about three different areas. We certainly have the genetics and the breeding of cattle that are important to us all. We certainly have the care and husbandry of cattle, which is important. But I think the third leg under the table is the marketing leg. And I think that's a critical piece in the registered cattle business. So today we're going to explore a fun marketing adventure that we've been on for the past 7 years in the industry. 7 years ago, we started a sales series in Nashville, on Broadway at Nashville. My partner Chris Hill and I, and this thing has grown into an industry event. We pride ourselves on giving our guests a great time. We pride ourselves on having a tremendous auction. But now that it's grown into an event that the whole industry, every breed, every facet of the industry come to, large dairymen, small dairymen, industry folks, everybody likes to come to Nashville because it's grown into a must-see event for the year. We talk about what we all like to do every year, and it seems like Nashville puts a bow around all of our years quite nicely. So today for this series, we're going to interview three people that have been very important to the success of our event at Nashville. Certainly two breeders and promoters of cattle and lifelong Holstein, Jersey, Guernsey enthusiasts, you name it. They work with all different kinds of cattle. Marty Matlock from Indiana and Eric Olstad from Wisconsin. Along with them, we have my partner in this adventure, Chris Hill, who he and I, because of this sale, started the Dairy Sales Alliance. And our business has grown to help dairymen all over North America. I believe, Chris, we're probably marketing $5 to $7 million of cows and embryos and picks a year for our customers. And it all started with Nashville. So as we get going on this interview, the purpose of this discussion is talking about the camaraderie of our business and the potential ways to market your cattle. And we hope you'll find this useful. So Chris, let me welcome you first of all. Tell us how this whole event got started, how it was dreamt up, and what it's turned into today.
Well, thanks, Tim. It's a pleasure to be on the podcast here this afternoon. And I guess a lot of people don't know the true story except for your family and my family. And I believe it was December 2016. We all decided, after you and Sharon had been to Nashville several times, made some friendships down there. You invited us to go, and we went in December of 2016. And like just about every place we go, we said, let's have a sale here. So with that said, we bounced around Broadway, and we went to several different places. We all liked them, and we just wondered how can we get our foot in the door down here? Well, lo and behold, Tim is Tim, and he had already made a lot of friends with the right kind of people that could assist us in getting in the door to have a sale at Nashville. So 2017 was our first year, and our goal was to sell 50 head that averaged $7,500. And we always went into this, we wanted all breeds from day one. We never said, well, we just do Holsteins and Jerseys and red and whites. We wanted all breeds from day one. Number one, to have everybody involved. Number two, to have all the breeders from all the 7 different breeds gather at a place where we could actually spend time together, have camaraderie, and market our cattle at the end of the year. You have World Dairy Expo in October, which everybody is basically at, but there's not always time for camaraderie, and we're not often fair to ourselves at a place like that because we either have chores to do, we have meetings to go to, we have people we have to meet. We just don't have the appropriate time to spend with our friends in the industry and our friends that we don't get together with, but once or twice a year. With that in mind, we sought out after the best cattle we could, and we were very fortunate to have a great sale the first year. And every year we've poured a little more gas onto it per se, and this is the 7th year, and it's as big and as good as ever. If the catalog's online now, and I think it speaks for itself. There's no better way to get together with your friends than between Thanksgiving and Christmas, just over a few days, have a lot of laughs, and then the culmination of the weekend is the sale. With the time of year we have this sale, it gives us the ability to market a lot of people's very, very, very best, because a lot of people that have the best heifers don't particularly milk cows, and it gives them an outlet to sell their winners. Usually when somebody sells their winner and she may be in calf, they're going to put the money into a younger female and just reinvest every year. And I think Eric, who's on with us today, he can speak for that. He sold a heifer that was Supreme Junior Champion in our sale. She was Supreme at World Dairy Expo, sold her for a really nice chunk of money. Lo and behold, the people that bought her are doing well with her as well. And that's just a great story from the sale. And I don't think there's enough good things to be said from the weekend we had.
Dairy One's soil laboratory provides a variety of industries with soil testing and analysis. For most of our customers, their businesses literally start from the ground up. A soil analysis will help our customers ensure that the right nutrients are available in the soil, or if additional fertilizers are needed. These decisions will impact their plant growth and yield. If you need to improve your soil's health, Dairy One is ready to help. Contact the Dairy One Soil Laboratory by emailing soil@dairyone.com. That's dairyone.com.
Well, and Chris, just quickly tell our listeners the day that we decided to do this, and I give our wives a lot of credit. My wife, Sharon, works on the hotel reservation block and has done amazing work with the Hyatt Place and the Holiday Inn down there. Jennifer helps coordinate all the hard work with Facebook and certainly the events that go on, because it's a very social event. Chris, how scared were you when we put this all together?
Very.
Did you think it would work?
It's pretty nice to be a partner with you because you're optimistic and you make things happen. And I think we complement each other pretty well. And the bonus thing we have is we all have a lot of friends in the industry, and we have friends with the right kind of cow, and they believe in us to market their animal and get the most potential out of them. But as far as doing this together, we each have our own jobs, and we each take the bull by the horn, and we do the best we can to make it a very highly successful sale.
Well, and I to compliment to you, Chris, I just did an interview about this event, and I said, when you have the greatest auctioneer of his generation that is as well respected as Chris Hill, all you got to do is get out of the way. So that's kind of what we've done, guys, and thrilled to be in this spot. Let's go to our guests a little bit here, Chris. Marty Matlock and his wife Robin have come to the event. I believe, Marty, every year since we started. I knew Marty and Robin back in several years ago when they were at Bella Estancia Holsteins in Indiana. They have always been involved in this industry, whether it's Indiana State Fair. Their commitment to that event is tremendous. Their commitment to cattle breeding is tremendous. And I laugh because I've gotten to know their son, Micah, and his wife, Mallory, and now they've got the cutest little baby you ever have seen in your life. But they're passionate about the cow business too, Marty. And gosh, I think it's amazing how good a kid Mallory is, considering her dad's the guy that wears polka dot hats around the shows there, Jeff Stuckey. But obviously Micah got her straightened out. But Marty, tell me a little about your and Robin's experience at Nashville and what you think about it and why you keep coming back.
Thanks, Tim and Chris, for doing this and for letting me be a part of it. When you sent me the message yesterday, I said I can think of about 50 people that would do better than me, but apparently I got the short straw, so I really do appreciate the opportunity to be on with you guys. Yeah, so one correction, we did not go COVID year because we actually had COVID right before the event, and Robin was packed and ready to go, even though she was sick. But I said no. I put my foot down. We did not make it that year. But
thank you for not coming, Marty.
yeah. Well, I was thinking of only you. So yeah, it's kind of cliche, but a lot of the reason we go back every year is the people. And I think Chris kind of hit the nail on the head when he said that. You see everybody at the shows, you see everybody at Madison and all the big shows, but everybody's busy. Most of the time people are wore out and they don't really feel like sitting down and have a conversation. And so the Nashville event is something that we just have enjoyed, getting to meet people, being reacquainted with old friends from back in the day. We've met a lot of people and crossed paths with a lot of people at this event that we probably would have never had you guys not put this thing on. And so every year it seems like it's bigger and better. And each year I keep wondering how you're going to top it. And then next year we go back and you do just that. So that's the main reason we go back, is for the people. The sale is obviously, the most important part of it, but we enjoy the people. And you can't go to Nashville, let's face it, you can't go to Nashville and not have a good time. I mean, that is just a party town. And the thing that amazes me every year about Nashville is it doesn't matter, what establishment you visit or hang out at, the music talent is fantastic no matter where you go. And you guys do a great job as far as getting, that local talent to entertain the Cal people as well while we're there. So again, we appreciate you guys doing what you do.
Well, you and Robin and your great friends, the Engel Kings, have been there, for years, and it's fun to have you, Marty. If you had to say your favorite part of the event for the weekend, obviously morning breakfasts are not always the most fun, but what's your favorite part of the event over the weekend?
Actually, morning breakfast is kind of fun because you just have to look around the dining room and see who had the most fun the night before, because you can tell either A, they're not there, or B, they're not eating a lot, or they're drinking a lot of water. So yeah, I mean, what you guys have done with the All-American, having that in and kind of reviving that whole process, the All-American party that you had last year. And I think moving to the stage was a great move. Alan Jackson's bar is fantastic, but you guys had obviously outgrown that. And where you're at now, it just gives a lot more room, a lot more flexibility to talk around and socialize with people. So we enjoy it all, but obviously the sale is a combination, and the thing I get the most fun out of. Just learning about new pedigrees and who's doing what with what cow families, and what's worth a lot of money and what's selling. It's very interesting to me, and educational as well.
Great. Well, we appreciate those comments. Eric, this has been tough for you because we've made you be quiet for too doggone long. Eric, you have been part of this with your family again since the inception. You're involved in all aspects of the industry. I talked about Marty's children. Your daughter and son-in-law have been very instrumental in the business, and you guys kind of do it as a family affair. You've told me it's become one of the go-to events in the industry. So tell us a little about your Nashville experience and how you think when you talk about Nashville.
Yeah, thanks, Tim. On it, Marty, really appreciate being invited, and I'm guessing you went through quite a bit of calls before you ended up with me. But it is fun to be. It is fun to be on. Just some of the discussion brings back a lot of different memories, and I think I saw a tagline about this sale, something to the effect of, it's not just a sale, it's an experience. And, first of all, Nashville, my goodness, you talk about a destination, right? And so when you think about that aspect, and then you combine it with the type of sale lineup that you folks continue to put together year after year, it certainly is a go-to event. And, for me, I've been fortunate that my kids have loved this. And so we'll be back this year again as a family, and the family got a little bigger, as you mentioned. with my son-in-law, and we've been fortunate to be kind of on both sides of this sale as it's evolved, both as consigners of multiple lots over the years, and then purchasers as well. And when you look at that new catalog that Chris referenced, my goodness, it almost makes you drool with the quality that you have from the front page to the back. But I think there's so many reasons that it's a go-to event. But this is a business of people. We all have the same passion, whether we're from Canada or the East Coast or West Coast. It's a collective audience of the same like-minded individuals. And when you can rub shoulders with some of the people that attend this year after year and learn from them, and whether you're looking at the pedigrees and the sire stacks that Marty talked about, or some of the other marketing situations, that's what this business is, and it's a people business, and there's no place that combines it in a better way than what we have going on down in Nashville. So it's pretty cool.
You bring up the topic of the people business. Tell me a little bit about how you see, what's different about this event than a cow show. Marty referenced it, Chris referenced it. Eric, from your standpoint, what makes this thing so neat from being able to learn from each other? Is there something that sticks out to you that drives this?
It was kind of already referenced, but it can't be undersold. And that is oftentimes the events that we have going on, we gather and it's kind of the old rule. We throw 10 pounds of into a 5-pound sack, and everybody's so busy and so overwhelmed and has so much going on that, there could, for example, at World Dairy Expo, right, there's multiple sales going on along with how much else. And whether it's the national conventions or what have you, there's always distractions. And down here, the distraction is singular. We're all there doing the exact same thing. And I think because of that and the different events within this gathering, whether it's the new one this year with the red and white at AJ's or the All-American Park, you run into so many different people. And now with the larger size of the stage, it's easier to mill about. We're not separated by floors and so on, like we were across the road at AJ's. And I don't know that you can necessarily put a price on that, and the wisdom that you can bring home and bring back to your operation and your program, regardless of the size of it.
Chris and I hear that all the time. One of my favorite quick stories from last year, Kylie Cannell Chittenden, brown Swiss breeder from Vermont, sold one of the top lots last year. And she came out of it telling us that the education she got from other breeders from other breeds was tremendous. And I think sometimes we don't cross paths enough as multiple breed owners, and this thing brings that all together. Chris, I know you'll have a hard time doing this, but tell us what you think is going to be exciting this year as far as the whole schedule for the weekend.
Well, we were contacted by Red and White, and Red and White's been going through a little bit of a changing of the guards, and we were contacted by them, and they wanted to be a part of the All-American nomination party Sunday afternoon. And as everybody knows, that takes a little bit of time, but hopefully we've done some tweaking on that so we can fit the Red and Whites into our time slot there before the year-end bash starts on Sunday afternoon. So Saturday afternoon from, what is it, Tim, 2 to 6?
Yes.
From 2 to 6, Red and White is going to sponsor the music at AJ's. And we have the third floor, I believe, all to ourselves, which everybody knows the third floor. That's where the Alan Jackson's boat is.
Yeah, that's right. Third floor, okay. The whole Billy Bar, they call it. That's right.
It's certainly a good place to gather for the first day, and then that goes on until 6 o'clock, and then dinner's on your own. And then Sunday morning, as always, many of us go up to Lefty's show. That's kind of Lefty is in his band. They're kind of characters. He does a really good job. Him and Tim you would think they went to high school together, but the truth is neither one of them did. But
we didn't even get through high school.
Everybody enjoys that for the first couple hours of the day, and then everybody kind of does lunch on your own and kind of regroups from, say, 12 to 1:30, and then I believe at 1:30 is when the doors open at the stage, right?
Yep.
We're going to do all the All-American nominations, the jerseys, the Red and Whites, and the Holsteins. and we're going to get through that as fast as we can, but we're going to let everybody that was fortunate enough to have a nomination, they're all going to be recognized, and I'm sure there's a lot of them are going to be there, and I'm sure there's a lot of them that are going to be on Facebook Live, and we certainly welcome our newbies, the Red and White Association. There's nothing more popular than red and whites, and we're certainly glad to have them along. And as well as our great sponsors from Cosmo that do the jersey and black and white nominations and help us with a lot of things during the weekend. So there's a lot of gratefulness to give everybody that makes this weekend. It's not just us that make it happen. It's a lot of organizations, and it help us get through this. There's a lot of breeders that and sales staff that they come up to us and ask us, hey, what can we do to make everybody's experience better? And that's the real cool thing of the weekend. It's everybody just has a great time. Nobody's in a rush to get anywhere, except for hopefully everybody is Monday morning. We certainly hope everybody can join us. Like I said, the catalog is on Cosmo, DAT, Cow Buyer. It's on there now. You can go through it, and I think it speaks for itself. It'll just blow you away. With I've never seen a better type catalog in my life.
It's a testament to our customers and our consigners and our partners in the event, Chris, that it surely has gotten good. Marty and Eric, I want to go a little back to marketing, because we talk about marketing. You both are successful in marketing in your day jobs for your careers. Tell us why you think it's so important for us as breeders to promote our cattle. And I think sometimes that gets lost in this, and I think, can each of you give a little advice to somebody trying to market their cattle, and why an event like Nashville is so important to you if you're trying to develop a name? Eric, let's start with you.
Someone referenced earlier that not everybody in this business it calves them in and milks them and is doing that, and bless those that do. And at the end of the day, we're all in the dairy business, right? And we happen to be in this niche side of showing cattle, and it's an amazing thing, and it's addictive and all those aspects. But for me, when I'm looking at buying and selling, I think this is maybe about as high a compliment as you can get for this Nashville sale. I think, is this animal, if she accomplishes what you hope, right? We all buy them. We all have these aspirations of how they're going to mature and develop. Is she the type of animal that Tim and Chris would take in their sale? Honestly, Alan and I have those conversations. We use that as a bit of a litmus test. The quality of cattle, the sire stacks, the cow families, good makes good. There's so many incredible things going on in our business right now. And when you see all Americans making all Americans continually, and it seems like even more so, wow, what a great time to be in this business. And so I'm not sure if that gets to the point of what you're asking, Tim, but I think that your alliance and the opportunities that you've given us, friends and customers of yours, to promote our cattle and to be involved creates more opportunities, and it's a buying and selling business, and we're certainly thankful for the opportunities that you guys have created, particularly here in Nashville.
Well, great comments. I appreciate that. Marty, you've been involved in breeding and marketing cattle for years. You got any thoughts or advice to somebody who's almost to this level and wants to become involved in marketing cattle at the high end, and what it means?
If you're kind of in a position where you're wanting to get to that level, the smartest thing you can do is take a look at that catalog that Chris referenced, and look at the cow families and the pedigrees and how far back generations they go. And if you're not there yet, then buy one that is there, or buy pick up a flesh, because, you can do that. We've bought a few at that sale and have had success with them. To me, that's the best way to get started, is if you can go in rather than, we all know if you go to a farm or to a show and try to buy, the grand champion, the potential grand champion the night before the show, you're not going to be able to do it on most people's checkbooks, other than maybe the one hosting this broadcast. But sorry, did I get you choked there, Tim? Sorry.
Yeah.
Anyway, but you do have an opportunity in these sales, and in this sale particularly, to buy into some fantastic genetics. And if you're wanting to be at that level, the best way to be at that level is to buy from somebody that's already there. And so I think maybe that's the best advice I could give for somebody trying to get there. And if you're already there, I know when Mike and I have this discussion, quite a bit about, if we're looking at an animal or a potential animal or a cross, about, is she good enough to go in a sale like, Nashville? So I think what Eric said is very true. You guys have sort of set the standard. And I think it's what you guys are doing is so important for the industry. Even if you're not into the show stuff, even if you're just into production cows, nobody likes to go to the barn and milk an ugly cow. I think that is another reason why, what you guys are doing, not only in this sale, but with your alliance and the other sales that you're doing is so important, so vital to the industry.
The very good advice from both you guys. We appreciate that. And I hope our listeners make note, because there were some very, very strong statements that I think ring true to all of us in this business. Maybe a little off track here quickly, and we'll wrap up our discussion with you guys. But Eric, I need to know, who is your favorite country artist? I know this might not have been in the plan, but if you got a go-to country artist that Eric's going to listen to, who would that be?
Well, I'm going to break it down two ways for you, Tim. I'm going to go old school, and I got to check the box this summer and saw George at AmFam Field, Milwaukee. George Strait. God, to be, no words need to be said. The dude can still bring it at his age, and I think he did 33 songs in his set.
Wow.
If I remember. And but new age, number one on my list I haven't got to yet is Morgan Wallen. I'm big fan.
And Marty, how about that for you? You got a favorite?
Yeah, probably George Strait. We've been to see him in concert when he was here in Indy, and he just puts on a tremendous show, and he just keeps coming back. I like the old guys, kind of. I think George is probably much younger than me, but new on the scene artist. I'm a big fan of Jelly Roll. I love his story, and I think he relates to a lot of the younger generation, and he's got a tremendous message. And so I think those would probably be my. If I could go see anybody, those would probably be my picks. My wife would go see Chris Stapleton every night if she could, but that doesn't get to happen very often. Oh,
great. And we're blessed to have singers that are the next Chris Stapleton or the next, hot person. We'll run into those people down there, and that's exactly where they start, is on Broadway. And whether we have them performing for us or you go find them in one of the honky tonks or pubs. I think Dave Savage in his interview today said there's 7 new bars with 3 floors of music in Nashville that have gone up in this past year. I just heard an interview with Garth Brooks the other day about his new place opening on Broadway. And it's become so big that you will find the next great star. Truly, we've got friends, Timmy Baumgartner, that was literally singing after Lainey Wilson in the pubs in Nashville 2 years ago. And it goes that fast. So we really encourage you to come. Guys, as we wrap this up, I'm going to ask Marty and Eric both to wrap this up. If you're telling someone that's thinking about coming and maybe hasn't been before, what's your advice for them coming, or what they do when they get there? You got some advice, Marty?
Yeah, it's kind of cliche, but just do it if you're thinking about it. Our daughter Megan and her husband JW came with us last year, and they're hooked. Coming back this year again, and once you do it, you'll love the experience. If you don't think you're going to fit in, like if you don't feel like you can fit in with some of the big time breeders, trust me, you will, because those people are just like us. If you don't think you know anybody, because the first time we went, I wasn't sure if I was going to know anybody besides Tim and Chris, hoping that Sharon and Jen would be there. That's the main reason we went anyway in the first place. But you will make friends really quick. And if you don't, call me and I'll introduce you to people that like to have a good time. But if you're even thinking about going, just do it. This, no matter what business you're in, my business is stressful. Farming in general, agriculture is stressful. So take a couple of days away from it, go down there, have a good time, relax, and enjoy yourselves. That's what it's all about at the end of the day.
Let's go back to Stookie real quick, Marty, who is your son's father-in-law. He talks about coming, and if we call him out in this podcast, you think we can convince him to come? Maybe.
I've already got Marla, his wife, convinced. Jeff is he's a little bit harder nut to crack, but I do think we'll get him there someday.
He probably won't watch a podcast.
I probably you got a point there. I'll send it to them. They can watch it while they're milking.
That's right.
We have tried to promote them being down there to help them kind of get away from it. I know Mike and Mallory help out a lot at the barn. They'll do I told him, Michael will do the chores. You guys come on down. We'll have a good time. So we'll see.
That's great. That's great. Well, Marty, we sure appreciate you and Robin and the Angle Kings being our friends and supporters. Eric, to wrap up, your thoughts on why you would try to convince someone to go to Nashville.
I'm going to do this. How do I go about it? I think you simply like on Facebook the Music City Celebration. And when that post goes up that Jen puts up about the block or what have you, get on it because it goes fast. And once you have that, it's all gravy from there because the whole event's put together for you. If you can just follow the line, you'll see where the people are at. The other thing that's really cool about this time of the year that maybe some people overlook, everything's busy, but it's not so busy that you're spending so much time waiting in line. And you hear that oftentimes from people that go to Nashville. From what I've heard from talking to different folks down here more local or in Nashville locally, is that between Thanksgiving and Christmas, it's a little slower time. Now, to me, it still seems pretty busy, but it's just like going into a full bar. Don't get me wrong, they're certainly not empty, but you're not waiting in line. And so, again, there's just, regardless of how you slice this, there's just so many great things that come from this gathering that you guys have put together in Nashville.
And one thing, if I may, like if you fly in, don't anybody get a car because you don't need
no.
You're gonna pay. You're gonna pay to park as much as you're gonna pay.
Yeah.
If you get there on Saturday and you've never been there before, and you get depressed because there are some lines at the real popular honky tonks, go to a smaller one because on Sunday those long lines won't be near as prevalent as they are on Saturday. And then Monday it's like it's just us until about 6 or 7 o'clock. For first timers, if you get there Saturday and you see the mobs and mobs of people, don't get too depressed because from Saturday on, it's just going to get better. And we always pick a weekend that they don't have a football game. That's one of our must-dos.
Great advice and comments, Chris, because it has those things are all true. And Chris and I and our sponsors and partners spend a lot of money renting venues and hiring music for private shows for us. But don't feel that's all you have to do. That's an opportunity. And it's a great chance to see people. And I would wrap up my comments, Chris, and I think you'd echo this. The reason we pulled this off originally was Alan Jackson. His manager at the time, Matt Harville, really believed in what we were doing. And he actually went to Alan Jackson and told him what we were doing. And Alan wanted us to come there to his bar. Alan actually owns the bar and is involved in the management at AJ's. Interestingly, we've had to move our venue, not because they weren't great hosts, just because we outgrew it. We're going to really be excited to go back to AJ's this year for the Saturday afternoon event. And we surely thank Alan Jackson and his team at AJ's for letting us in the door, because that is the reason for the event, isn't it, Chris?
Absolutely, 100%. At the stage, another thing, obviously there's going to be more people there this year. If you're at the sale and you think it's crowded, just go to the floor below. If you're not wanting to bid on, say, the next 10, 15 lots, the whole place is open. So if you want to leave our floor for a little bit and then come back or watch it on Cal Buyer, one floor underneath of us, feel free to. Everybody wants a breath of fresh air every once in a while.
Good points. And Chris, I think so our listening public has an idea what we're talking about. We're talking we will probably exceed 250 people at this event, and we may hit 300 this year, which is certainly amazing. It's a great tribute to all our friends. Eric and Marty, we truly appreciate your support you've given this and the advice you've given to our listeners. We will look forward to seeing you on December 9, 10, and 11 on Broadway in Nashville. I know hotel rooms are very scarce, but if you decide you want to come, contact Chris and Jen or Sharon and I, and we'll help you track down a hotel. I know our block at the Hyatt is gone, but we still have some at the Holiday Inn Express, and we'll help you find a place to stay. Don't not come because you're not going to have to sleep on the street. Heck, Chris will sleep in the lobby and let you have his room if you want to buy. So Thank you, everyone, for being on. Been a great discussion. We'll see you in Nashville.
If you enjoy the Dairy Voice podcast, you should also listen to Peggy Coffeen's Up Level Dairy podcast. Peggy focuses on valuable information for the dairy farmer, and we think you'd like her channel too. The Up Level Dairy podcast is available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube, or you can go to upleveldairy.com.